We have a trip up to the mountains planned, so that means I gotta get the Viper prepped. So I got some general maintenance stuff, fluid changes that I need to get taken care of, which is more or less what's going to happen in this video. Not really going to be a tutorial video, but I'll throw things out there like socket sizes and things like that. I got a little bit of repair work still to do on the front of the splitter, where the front little filler piece that they put in came out whenever they bottomed out. So I just gotta refill it with some fiberglass, and that'll make me feel better. Like, it's been holding up, but I don't want it to separate as I'm, down on the interstate. I've been having a very slight cooling issue. In motion, the temperatures are fine; they're way low, like they normally are. But if I'm chilling in traffic, they start to rise up over 220, which hasn't really been an issue so far. But I know times in Gatlinburg traffic is just like at a standstill, and I don't want to overheat while just chilling there. It was working fine before without any real issues. The only thing that's changed is the radiator. I think the previous radiator that was in the car was a dual core, and this one's a triple core. Thinking because I don't have the thermostat on because I'm lazy, that it could be having an issue of the coolant moving too fast and not allowing the coolant to heat transfer like it's supposed to. Eventually, I do want to upgrade the fans. The ones that are in there are kind of cheesy electric fans, and I want something to feel more CFM. Probably not going to get to that before the trip, but sometime in the near future that'll happen. So we're going to get the car up in the air and start working on the fluids. So I had no audio that whole time. 16 millimeter socket to pop the drain plug. Car takes 11 quarts with the filter. Labeled for 0W40. I was gonna run 5W40 this time around, but it was cheaper to get the 0W40. So I have taken a quart out of the box. Fairly steady, but not too fast flow rate. As you can tell that it's not spilling over. Gotta pull off the belly pan so I have access to the transmission. I think I can get to the differential without pulling it off, but I'm doing the transmission and then the differential. So let's get doing that. So up here, this is the fill plug, and then right here, see that? This is the drain plug. I forgot these two here on the transmission are actually 3/8 drives, so your ratchet just goes right into them. Crack the filler.
going to attempt to use the pump on this. So this part is supposed to take 4 quarts. I'm doing a 75W90. For the most part, I'm not really pushing too much on the pump. Just kind of letting it do its thing. Okay. Oop, oop, oop. Spilling over. We're going to move on to the differential now, which is a 38. So it's rough. 38. So, differential, so we got oil change, transmission fluid change, differential fluid change, skid plate forks back on. So now we're gonna go take her for a spin, see if she feels any smoother. Limited turning here. rest of this stuff done. The fiberglass and the thermostat changed out next Saturday after Cars and Coffee, maybe. One thing I've been thinking about doing, and you can't really find an aftermarket kit specific for it, but I'd like to do a cruise control on this. I know, Viper cruise control. But like if you're just doing tracks or you're cruising back and forth around town, that kind of stuff, it's not really necessary. But like this trip that's coming up, for example, where I'm going to be driving 10 hours up to the mountains, not too many people these days that still drive those kinds of distances without some kind of cruise control. She's shifting real smooth. I mean, it doesn't really feel too different from what it was shifting wise. The differential definitely is sounding smoother. I can't hear as much mechanical. Got a trip up to the mountains planned for, we were doing it annually for a while. Every year we'd go up there around Labor Day weekend. Because, well, my and Lauren's anniversary is at the end of the month, and then my son's birthday is a few days later. So we just kind of go up there as like an overall, just like celebrate everything kind of thing. You know, we've been doing it with family, and then last year things kind of got crazy. And last year would have been the first year I was able to take the Viper up to the Dragon, but the trip got more or less canceled because we were just, money was tight. We just didn't have the time if everything was going on. So we told ourselves we would absolutely do it this year. So, video really isn't like a tutorial video. It's just kind of a status update slash here's a couple little details. So pretty easy, not much to it. Future upgrades, gonna end up replacing the clutch. I don't feel any slip or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it slips, so it seems like it's fine, but it needs to be changed. I've not changed it since I've had the car, and I don't think the previous owner did. Maybe the previous. This could be the original clutch. I don't believe it is. I doubt it. It said it doesn't. I don't have any issues with the clutch, and I'd like to upgrade